April 7th, 2013. That was the first ever episode of Attack on Titan that we ever saw. And then, 10 years later, November of 2023, it is over. It is finally over. And I gotta say, I love the way it ended. Not just the way it ended, but the way it started, the way it went. The music might be my favorite thing about Attack on Titan. But yeah, in this video, I just want to reminisce. I want to look back at what I was doing in 2013, how my life was. And I invite you to do the same in the comments section, you know. I invite you to do another thing that I want to do in this video, which is to tell you my favorite thing besides the music, because music is goated, and I think it's the favorite thing of everybody. Whether it's the intros, whether it's the ending, everybody loves the intros and the outros and the music in general. I mean, who could forget you see Big Girl or the Attack on Titan with the weird, you know, characters, but it's so sick. Or any other part of the soundtrack. But other than that, like, what was your favorite moment? Because I'll get to that in this video as well. But yeah, the show ended finally with season 4, the final episode 5, part 2 minus 10. You get what I mean. The naming got a little crazy at the end there, but like 10 years. We're talking about 10 freaking years. So at the end of the day, I honestly didn't care. Like, sure, to be honest with you, underneath all of it, I felt that it was bullshit. Like, just do a normal season as you used to do and finish it already. That's how I felt for a long while. But I could never really truly get angry at this series because it just has given us so many fond memories to look back to that I'm sure you thought, just like as I did, great English by the way there, is like, okay, like it sucks that we have to wait months and months until the next episode. But all we want is when that episode comes, just don't mess it up. Other than that, we'll wait. We'll wait. And we have finally had the final episode, right? First of all, before I get to my favorite thing and reminiscing about the past and all that, let me give my thoughts on the final episode. It was very convoluted, I have to say. It was quite convoluted, but not to a point where, like, it wasn't basically illegible, right? I understood most of, at least like the big points that they really wanted to get across, the things that really pushed you to think. I think they got that across well. But to truly appreciate this episode, and maybe the last like 1.5 hour episode as well, I think you need to watch this at least twice or maybe 3 times to like really get everything. Because especially in this one, we had jumps after jumps, cuts after cuts between the real world, our timeline now and a different timeline. We got Mikasa's timeline and then that timeline and all that. So you had to pay attention, but that wasn't really difficult in this episode because like just shit went down the entire way through. Whole lot of action, whole lot of craziness. It's hard nowadays for me to sit down in front of something for 1.5 hours and not look at my phone, not look at anything else, not care about anything else, and just watch and not get bored at all. So I gotta give kudos. And you know, if you look at my channel, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Like, Rhino was like doing drop kicks, he was doing the torture rack, actually breaking people's back, like super pro wrestling inspired moves in the action scenes, especially with Reiner. So you know I appreciated the hell out of that. But yeah, I really appreciated the story, and the ending will stick with me forever because like the idea it gave us is nothing insane. And when I say the ending, I mean the post-credits, because like I just loved how we see the grave of a certain character. Spoiler incoming. I gave maybe tiny spoilers from what I said before this, but yeah, this was the non-spoiler section of my video. All right, look, if you like anime, hell, if you like a good story in general, I don't give a shit what you like. If you like good stories, that's all you need to do to be eligible to watch this. That's all you need to do. So that's the non-spoiler part over. Now I'm getting to the spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Eren died and we saw his grave. We saw people visiting. We saw the technology grow and change. We saw cars, and then suddenly the city got bigger and we had skyscrapers. Kind of looked like I don't know, like the world from Akira maybe. Very cyberpunk inspired world, which then even that got destroyed with nuclear bombs. And so it was just reinforcing the idea that this is just going to keep happening. It's going to happen with the Titans. Eren took care of the Titans. Well, now it's happening with nuclear bombs. Like, it's in our nature as human beings. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the last few years, I'd say, with the Russia and Ukraine situation. And, you know, I'm not going to get into these, but I'm just putting them out as examples. We have Israel and Palestine now. I'm pretty sure there are no years in the history of mankind where some sort of war wasn't going on. Like, I guess for us, peace is never an option. So it gives us a lot to think about human nature. Now, in general, I enjoyed it. Like, was it absolutely perfect? The ending, did it leave me with feelings of, wow, like, you could have not done this any better? Absolutely not. One of the things I would say is that I feel like this could have been 2 hours, 3 hours, as a matter of fact, like, to flesh out some of the things that are happening in this episode. Because while there was a lot of things happening, at points, like I said, it felt too convoluted. Like, too many things were happening, and they were not getting the time under the sunlight that they deserved, in my opinion. But overall, I'm satisfied. Like, this is a satisfying ending to this story, which is very hard to pull off, mind you. We're talking about Attack on Titan, one of the best stories out there now. So, gotta give kudos to that. And I was really bracing for impact because, you know, the common thought process of being nervous about the ending because everybody was crapping on the manga for it being so crappy. So I was expecting, to be honest, like Game of Thrones level crap from the crap that the mangaka got, right? He had to say like, I'm sorry, I'm ashamed, and stuff like that, if I remember those correctly. But no, like, you can make the argument that this wasn't anything special, the ending. It wasn't anything insane, especially in comparison to the other seasons of Attack on Titan, which admittedly, like, have seen narratively like higher highs. But like I said, I think it was a very fitting end. It tied up the package quite nicely. And so overall, I'm satisfied. I am quite satisfied. And yeah, like I said, it just gets me thinking. All the way back in 2013, a lot has changed in my life. I grew up with this anime, was a teenager. I assume it's the case for most of you too, right? I mean, what I was doing is not that different. I was in front of my PC, just playing games. I was living in a different country, doing YouTube in a different language. I'm still doing YouTube in that language, but additionally, now I'm doing it in English. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I remember like all the way back in 2014-15 playing the fan game of Attack on Titan. I'm sure some of you know it. Maybe I'll go back to it and see how many updates it got. Maybe it's changed. Maybe it's super cool now. It was super cool back in the day too, but maybe it's even crazier now. So hey, this video might inspire me to do that actually. Just give it one last look. But yeah, damn, I don't even remember. Was I in high school? Maybe even before that. But yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I had not expected this anime when I first watched it to be this great. Like, the intro alone, like, I was like, whoa, hold on a second. You know that gif of Neil deGrasse Tyson? Was that his name? It's like, hold on to your seats. What's going on? The anime would just like take you, and until the season ended, it would never let go of the action, of the intrigue. And yeah, I underestimated it because, you know, I've watched bunch of other stories before that, so I was like, Eren can become a Titan. I didn't exactly see that coming, but I knew there was a plot twist coming, and you know what, this is a cool plot twist. But okay, I guess the story will calm down after this, right? And then there's another plot twist, and then there's another, and then there's another, and then there's another, and all of them are legit. They're not done to subvert your expectations. They're not shitty. They are meaningful. They are amazing. And then we get to season 3, which is my favorite moment. See, this ocean behind me is not a coincidence, because it represents my favorite moment in any anime perhaps ever, in any storytelling medium. I remember after watching this, I had to just like, you know, stop and think for a while to process everything that I've seen, because I've never been exposed to something like this before watching the ending of the 3rd season of Attack on Titan. Like, this whole time, for years upon years upon years, we thought that it was monsters versus humans, or humans versus monsters, and then it just separated. Our worldview when it came to Attack on Titan was this, and then it became this whole thing. I don't know. It's like, it felt like, you know, being a human being that discovered a continent for the first time ever. You're like, holy shit, there's more to this world. This existed? Like, you know, making an insane discovery. That gave me that feeling. And so I will always remember that scene fondly and as my favorite. I assume a lot of you would agree with me when it comes to your favorite scene. This might be it. This is certainly the most iconic, the most symbolic scene in the series, and is the turning point. But there are other scenes that stand out to me, like any scene with Levi, especially against the Beast Titan. Those were insane. Again, I forget the guy's name now with the yellow hair and the eyebrows. Arvin something Taicho, I forget his name, I don't know why. But like, go forward my soldiers, that moment while everyone's getting decimated, the voice acting in general in this anime. When Eren dodges the kiss from Mikasa and he goes on like a tirade of saying I haven't changed at all, which he echoes in the last episode ever as well. Again, just awesome storytelling. That's a really good moment as well. Yeah, I gotta say, season 3 for me just hit different. Like season 4, hell yeah, I'm along for the ride and this is amazing, but season 3 was on another level. Because, as I've said, I've just never been exposed to that sort of storytelling before. Which was that planned out, well thought out as well. Not just like, was it planned out, but it was planned out well. Yeah. Couple that with the music, which Attack on Titan easily has one of the best soundtracks ever out there. Whether it's sad music, whether it's music to get you hopeful, to crush all of those hopes. Hiroki Sawano and anybody else who worked on that soundtrack in general. I think we had like crazy rock stars like Fade. Was it? Hyde, or not Fade, but Hyde. Many other people. I'm not gonna try to think of them right now because then the video will get like 30 minutes long. So yeah, I just wanted to have this introspective vlog or whatever you might call this with you guys about something that I really enjoyed. And yeah, like I said, I'd be really appreciative if you shared some of your memories with Attack on Titan, because it's always fun to read your comments and respond to them, which I try to do a lot. Thank you so much, by the way, for my last video where I talked about Star Citizen, or reacted to it, mind you. There were like over 200 comments. I literally, my fingers hurt trying to respond to all of them, but I loved every second of it, so yeah. It's fun. Anyways, that was Attack on Titan. 10 years of crazy ups and downs. Ups were us watching the show. Downs were learning after a season ended that the next season would come out 5 years later. But hey, at the very least, you always remember the ending. Always. So the fact that they were able to stick it, even after all the news of manga haters hating the ending, is pretty cool. So I guess I'll end this video with a simple thank you to Attack on Titan. That's it.